Hey guys, Jesse and Chuck here from Urban Legends Antiques, and this week we are doing another collab with Indy Annie Jones. The theme of this collab is a Fantasycore springtime collab. You can do any type of craft or DIY that you want, so we went a little bit outside of the norm. We are doing a Fantasycore installation in our booth at 4th Street Antiques in Temecula, California. The first step in this process is we are hanging fishing line, 45-pound fishing line from the top of our booth in a zigzag pattern. Our ultimate goal is to create a unique shopping experience for our customers. We want them to feel like they're walking into a forest or a little fairy glen when they walk into our booth. This is a thank you to our community for supporting us over the last 4 years. It's kind of hard to see, but we have the fishing wire up in a zigzag pattern. I put the bulbs into the globe lights. They're on and ready to go. In addition to the globe lights, we also have fairy lights and twinkle lights that we're going to install. But the first step is to clip the globe lights onto the fishing wire and get it up. I've also brought in some lace bits that I have cut up, just a bunch of old lace, and we're going to hang this up as well to create a canopy. I'm just tying all of the bits of lace together with more fishing line, and then we're going to tie that up to the top as well. There's no pattern, no rhyme or reason. We're just trying to create an organic, whimsical feeling. I like to go to the smaller mom and pop thrift stores to buy my lace. I believe that I bought this panel from Set Free. It is one of the local thrift stores in my area that supports people who are in drug addiction recovery. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Urban Legends Antiques. We've made it to the back of the booth, and this is the tallest part of the ceiling back here. It's the tallest part of our shop, and we're just using a little bit of Chuck's engineering skills to hang the lights back here. Works like a charm. I'm trimming off some of the extra fishing line just so it won't show as much, and we're stringing up some more of the lace panels. Now that I have my second lace panel up, I'm hanging up some twinkle lights. These have stars on them and they will twinkle in random patterns. I'm trying to have this look as natural as possible when it's completed. So even though my globe lights are in a zigzag pattern, I'm not going to do anything else in a zigzag or a precise pattern. I want it to be random, and even though it's very thought out and planned, I don't want it to look like it's been thought out or planned at all. I spent $4.99 on this spool of fishing line, and I think it was the best $4.99 that I spent for this install. We have used it at every step of the way, but the most important part was our first 2 layers when we're creating this framework for the canopy of flowers that we're going to install tomorrow. I want to show you what my inspiration was for this entire install. It is a trip I took to Disneyland with my sister back in October. We went to Oogie Boogie's Bash, and this is Villains Grove. Oh my gosh, I short-circuited when I was in this place. I just couldn't believe all of the detail and all of the effort that they put into making this amazing light installation, and it just made the whole experience for me that much more meaningful. We found wisps in Villains Grove. Will-o'-the-wisp, to be precise, in fairy tale folklore, they lure you off of the most frequently traveled path. Had I not been afraid of being permanently banned from Disneyland, I would have jumped off of that path and gone to party with the wisp myself. It is day 2 of the install, and today we are installing greenery and branches and butterflies and all the fun stuff. I've got my booth bag and my tool bag here with all of my kits and everything I need. I'm pulling out some scissors and some wire cutters because I'm going to start trimming down some of the greenery that I brought. I took apart a palm tree and a bamboo tree, and I'm going to trim them down to make more greenery, more foliage for our canopy that we're creating. In addition to the palm trees, my brother-in-law took me to a floral supply store where I was able to buy these birch twigs and some other really interesting flowers and moss-covered mushrooms and toadstools, all kinds of fun stuff that I'm going to use in my Wonderland install. I've used the fishing line again to hang up all of these little branches that I have. I just have them going in kind of chaotic, weird areas. I'm just trying to fill in holes where there's no lace or lights like this one right here. It's starting to get that overgrown, wild look that I want. I'm using the will-o'-the-wisp as my inspiration, so I want it to be like you've wandered into this area that's magical and mystical. I want it to look like there are trees that you don't recognize because they're fairy trees, and I'm trying to create that by using flowers and palm fronds. Actually, I'm going to have palm fronds up there and then these flowers draping off of it, so it's something unrecognizable, but I want it to feel magical. Here's my tree, my wild, untamed tree with the branches that are reaching up and over. I have butterflies that I'm going to add in and little birds' nests, and I want it to just look like this is a place where magical creatures almost collide. I'm trimming down my palm fronds just a little bit more. I think they were a little bit too long when I first started hanging them up. So this is just an example of what's going up into the canopy. And as you can see, I have the palm fronds starting it off, and then the flowers extend off of that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side over here. I'm adding in butterflies and more greenery to my tree in the background. I'm having pink and blue butterflies, and I'm able to just twist them up into all of the branches. As you can see, it looks wild and untamed. I have tiny little twinkle lights that I have hiding in the lace, and they are meant to be the wisps that are beckoning you into my shop. I have branches that are draping down, and I just think it's beautiful. I'm so happy with the way it's turning out. Look at the ladybug. Now that the wisps have invited you into my booth, or should I say enticed you into my booth, I'm going to have fairies in there to keep my customers browsing and engaged in our install. Instead of a fairy ring with flowers, I'm doing a fairy ring with ladybugs. I love ladybugs. This is one of 2 moss-covered birdhouses that I got at the floral supply store when I went shopping with my brother-in-law. I turned them into fairy homes, and of course I added ladybugs to them. I just think it's a different look. Still whimsical and fun, but the ladybugs add a different vibe. If fairies ride dragonflies, I imagine that ladybugs would be their pets. Now to get everything priced and get my shop cleaned and staged up and ready for customers. Now that I've added the finishing touches to my booth, it is ready for customers tomorrow, and I will be doing a quick walkthrough for you guys. This is a vintage flower press. I had actually bought it for my Dark Academia video, but it never made it in. These are hand poured soy candles that are made in small batches. But here's my walkthrough. We added in butterflies and ladybugs in addition to all of the greenery and branches. We have 3 different types of twinkle lights right now. As the seasons progress towards summer and fall, we are planning on adding in birds and maybe some dragonflies. But this is a thank you to our customers for supporting us all these years. We couldn't have made it this far without you. Thank you so much. Thank you for encouraging my creativity as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss another one of my videos. If you want to watch any of the other creators in this playlist, I've dropped a link to them in the description box. Also, I have a website with items available to ship, urbanlegendsantiques.com. I'm so glad that I chose to participate in this collab with Indiana Jones again. If I hadn't done it, I would have never pushed myself to make this beautiful Fantasycore install in my shop. I would have never made this experience for my customers. Here's one last look at my fairy before I go. I imagine she's gardening with her little ladybug pet next to her. Bye! I'm Jessie from Urban Legends Antiques, and thanks for coming along for the ride. Here's one last shot of me and my sister before she runs off to go party with the wisps.